So this week's assignment is the first of two related to Universal Design for Learning, UDL, which is a mindset, framework, way of thinking about designing instruction that results in mastery learning for as many students as possible. Some of you have certainly had experience with this. It's recently been really invested in by the state of New Hampshire, DOE, and personally, I find it to be the most helpful framework for designing learning experiences that I've seen. It for me, it culminates, kind of synthesizes some of the stuff that I've learned over the years, or most of the stuff that I've learned over the years. So I have you spend a couple weeks on it in this explicitly in this course, and then build on it in some of your assignments. So assignment 3-1, Universal Design for Learning. So in this assignment, you'll deepen your understanding about UDL and then use tech tools of your choice within some parameters to express that understanding that you now have of UDL. I'll go to this at the end, but there's a section that adds a little more detail about essential UDL background. Especially if you haven't really had much experience, you ought to take a look there. And as I mentioned, this is the first of two consecutive assignments focusing on UDL. This week's tech tool options, you'll choose within a couple of options, and I'll share those downstairs, based on what you want to learn. So think about recent classes, recent plans, recent something that you wished you could do that you couldn't do to your level of satisfaction, and choose that. And again, I'll get more parameters on that below. What you're going to submit is responses to lettered prompts A through N in whichever format best allows you to express your thinking and understanding on those items. At least part of that response should be done using the tech tool that you choose this week. And so the format it'll kind of depend on what tools you choose. But keep in mind or know that you don't need a single uniform format for the entire assignment. So if you want to work on video editing, but you're like, God, I can't talk for like as long as it's going to take, just do a couple questions in video or screencast or whatever, and do the rest in, I don't know, writing. Or you could create all audio responses. If you want to record just some of the audio and then write responses for the remainder, fine. There's no combination that's right. Again, the requirement is you need to have some of your response made in the expression or the format of your choice based on the tech tool that you choose. Again, the goal is to get you to learn about tech tools you want to learn about. So that's just kind of the assignment overview. Details, there's 3 sections. Part 1A, which is a general overview of Universal Design for Learning, and it prompts A through D are those that overview. Part 1B is more detailed. That's kind of the meaty part of the assignment, and those are prompts E through J. And then part 2 is the tech tool learning reflections prompts K through N. So let me go through these sections here. Again, general overview. For this first section, part 1A, just use this, and there's a link here to the UDL guidelines. Just use this and this for section 1A only. So use only this graphic organizer for this part of this starter, or the assignment. You'll get plenty of chances to access other research sources in part 1B. And all I'm asking you to do is just kind of get to know the architecture. There are 3 principles. There's the principle of engagement, the principle of representation, the principle of action and expression. Within each principle, there are 3 guidelines. And so there are 3 guidelines: recruiting interest, sustaining effort, and self-regulation. For the principle engagement, there are 3 guidelines: perception, language and symbols, comprehension. For the principle representation, and so on and so forth. And then each of the little bullets here are checkpoints. And there are 32 of those. So you answer those questions. More detailed overview, pretty straightforward prompts, I believe. I did include some more detailed resources that I've curated below, but if you know of others, please feel free to use those. And I'm not going to go through these because I think they should be pretty straightforward, but as always, reach out if you have any questions. So prompts E through J, and then finally part 2, the textual learning reflection. That should be pretty straightforward. So some essential UDL background, and again, this is what I referred to. Well, let me show you my little trick here. This is what I referred to at the beginning when I talk about essential UDL background. An important mindset of UDL is that when students don't successfully learn what the teacher wants them to learn, variables in the learning environment have created barriers to student learning, which shifts the focus from the students being disabled to the learning environment disabling the student learning. In other words, and this is from CAST's UDL guidelines, UDL aims to change the design of the environment rather than to change the learner. When environments are intentionally designed to reduce barriers, all learners can engage in rigorous, meaningful learning. And we'll talk a lot more about this word barriers next week. New Hampshire has recently seen the potential benefits to using UDL as a framework for thinking about how we design learning experiences for our students, particularly in light of the remote learning situation. In fact, one of the key supports that I've provided a link to up above is a subscription for all teachers to Learning Designed, which is basically a UDL for teachers resource. And then if we go back to the top of the document, I said more info about which tech tools you can use. And so you can use an entirely new tool or one that's familiar, but one that you want to learn in more detail. Here's just kind of general ideas. So what I'd like you to choose is one of the following. Wait, what just happened? Tom moved and this changed? No, I just did some quick edits that I needed to do. So your three choices, and you can use all of these or just one or two of them, or you can combine them. But the things that I'd like you to work on are editing images, editing audio, and or editing video. So just choose one of those tools. They all have really good tutorials on them, and they all have varying degrees of effectiveness for your different contexts. So I'm not going to spend too much time saying you should use this. I'm just going to let you know that here's some options that I've curated, and some of them are free. Most of them have free samples or free trials, and so you can give those a try if you want. And very often, especially now, educators get free tools. They won't advertise it so well, so if you are checking out a tool and you want to know if it's free for educators, just put like Audacity for educators, and very often they'll have a free trial or an extended free trial or free till the end of the summer or whatever. So hopefully that is helpful in terms of what this what looks like a complex assignment is, but really it's actually pretty straightforward, and it's really important to form the foundation for what we're going to be doing for the next couple of weeks.